What's up, guys? It is Sam here, and I wanted to talk about three things. I wanted to talk about fire, and lean fire, and then fat fire. So what the fuck is fire? By the way, make sure you press that subscribe button, and there's a little bell notification right there. Just jingle that bell, just like you would sing that song around Christmas. Jingle bells, jingle bells. Gonna press that little button on Sam's YouTube channel so I get notified. Just like Santa brings gifts, YouTube brings you the gift of my videos every day. By the way, make sure you press that thumbs up button for this awesome intro. Maybe I'll sing it one time. Okay, so what is FIRE? FIRE is an acronym for Financial Independence and Retire Early. That's what the FIRE stands for. And if you go through, so if you watch some of my videos, there's a study that was done back in late 90s, I believe it was. It's called the Trinity Study. It's basically looking up the safe withdrawal rate from a portfolio, to see how much can be pulled from the portfolio without drawing down the principal balance. Principal balance just means what was originally in there, essentially. And there was, if you did not adjust for inflation, you could go up to, I think it was 4 or 5%, maybe it was 5%, I think, of the principal of the portfolio. Once you adjust for inflation, I think it comes out to be 3.96%. You can pull roughly 4%. Now, what that is saying is, right, if you need a certain amount to live off of per year, what times your portfolio equals that amount, right? If you need $40,000 to live off of, and if you have a portfolio that you can draw 4% off, what does that portfolio size need to be to equal 40,000? Simple fucking algebra. Another way you can do that is by taking the inverse of 4%. So 1 divided by 0.04 equals 25. Basically, how many times does 0.04 go into 1? 25 times. So the easiest way to figure that out is if you know your annual spending, not how much you make, but your annual spending, right? Because hopefully you're saving something. And depending on how you structure, you can factor taxes into it too, or not, depending on how detailed you want to get into it. I would recommend, if you're just watching this or learning about this for the first time, probably don't factor your taxes into it. You can do that down the road, but it's just simple enough to take 25 times your annual spending. And then you can think of this in 3 tiers. Lean FI, which is financial independence, right? So lean fire, regular fire, and then fat fire. Fat with a PH, right? F, instead of an F, it's PHAT for fat, like a fat booty. I should probably go to bed. It's getting late. With that intro and that awesome joke right there, make sure you press that thumbs up button. Okay, so if you go through and so basically I've done this many times. But I think it's a good exercise to go through from a mental standpoint to see what you need, right? So go through and, like, on your budget, right, you have your rent or house, and then you have your food, and you have your miscellaneous shit, and then you have like the bare fucking bones, right? Maybe your phone is on there, your insurance is on there, and at this point in your life, you might have a car payment, you might have some other things on there, but just the bare bones. Like, if you fucking lost your job, how much would you have to make to just barely get by? Like, just barely. Like, you're not doing anything special. It's just, like, barely getting by. That's why it's called lean fire, right? Like, if you think of when you're, I have a lot of stuff on fitness, so if you think of you're at 6 or 7% body fat, there's not a lot of fucking body fat there. You're pretty fucking lean, right? And then regular fire is maybe that 12%, 11 to 14% body fat. And then fat fire is fucking 25% body fat, 40% body fat. That's what you want. in this metaphorical example that I'm giving you. So my number, right? So I've got rent. I own a property, but I don't plan on buying property to live in just as rentals because it just doesn't make sense for me. So rent, food, insurance. The only thing I haven't figured out is medical. So mine is about $2,000 per month, a little bit under $2,000 per month. And I'm sure that if I was actually trying, like the food and the housing, I could probably drop that down by $500. But the medical is not factored in. So if I have a $300 medical insurance, I have to factor in. Then I have to factor that in there, right? So now, if I need $2,000 a month to live off of, in the lean, right? Like that's not anything special. That's maybe $100 or something per month to just spend on miscellaneous shit. I'm not like doing anything extravagant or whatever the case is at $2,000 per month. I can still travel some. I think I factored travel in there too. Well, but basically, you've rent, right? Like you can get a fucking Airbnb in pretty much any city around the world for less than $1,000. So you could just basically live in Airbnbs perpetually for a period of time until they go old. You know what I mean? Stay in an Airbnb for a month or two at a time, and then go somewhere else. Stay there for a month or two, then go somewhere else. Stay there a month or two. Anyways, by the way, if you want to follow me as I go along this journey, like that's probably what I'm fucking do in the next year or two. Just stay at Airbnbs, and I'll let you know what's up with the finances as well. Also along this journey with what I'm about to get into. So right, $2,000 per month annually. You multiply that times 12 is $24,000. Now, what did I say at the beginning of this video? Right, you take the inverse of 4%, which is 25. So now you take that, and that's the portfolio size you need to generate $24,000 a year, right? It's just simple algebra. So what portfolio, like X times 4% equals 24, right? So I can show you what I'm talking about here. Just for simple math, we have 24K, and this is the annual amount here. Annual equals 4% times X, right? So what do you get for this? And if you know algebra, you get, and I'm about to show you. So we gotta get rid of this 4%, right? Here's your math lesson for the day. So you take 4% right here. What happens to this 4%? Right, because you gotta get rid of it. So you have to divide this side by 4%. Oops, that's right. So what ends up happening? This cancels. Now you're over here. So you have 24K divided by 4% equals X. So what does X equal? X equals 600K. Because this divided into this equals that. So that means you need a portfolio value in retirement of $600,000. So you might have thought of that ambiguous question of like, how much do I need in retirement? Well, that's what you need to live off of $24,000 a year. You're like, well, I can't fucking live off of $20,000. Just go through this process. Just try it. Then you see what these numbers are, and you see that they're really not that big. So you do the same thing. And by the way, I'm going to show you this. This, what we just did, is the same thing as multiplying 24K. Hopefully you can see this. $24,000 times 25. 600K. This equals the same thing because it's just the math, right? Because another way to look at this right here is you could pull this out here in front and it would be 1 divided by 4%, right? Times, let me show you what I mean. So another way to look at that would be 1 divided by 4% times 24K equals X, right? So this is the same thing as 25. If you take 1 divided by there, so you can do either one of these and you'll get the same answer. And this is 600K equals X, right? So that's how much you need in retirement to live off of $24,000 in retirement. So if you have a portfolio of $600,000 and you're able to live off of $2,000 a month like me, then you could retire right now. Now, remember how I mentioned lean, right? So that's lean. There's not a lot of fat in your budget in terms of what you're able to do. Now, regular FIRE, financial independence, for me, I think would be, at least at this moment in time, say $4,000 a month, right? That's $48,000 a year. So $2,000 covers all my bills. So $4,000 is extra travel, maybe a toy or two in there, and maybe some giving, and basically just a shitload more travel, but a different style of travel maybe. More extravagant type of travel potentially, and just different destinations that maybe cost a little bit more money. Maybe some more going out to eat as well, and that kind of thing for $4,000 a month. But if you do the same thing, right? $4,000 per month times 12 divided by 4% is $1.2 million. So if you actually go through and you do this, like $1.2 million doesn't take too long to get to if you have if you have a purpose and a vision of how you want to live your life, right? If you can spend $48,000 a year, and you can live in any part of the world you could possibly live in. So if you decide to go to Malaysia, or Thailand, or the Caribbean, and that same $48,000 kind of gets you like a $65,000 lifestyle, you could do that. Allow your portfolio to grow for 3 more years, right? So instead of 1.2, now you're at 1.4. And then if you wanted to come back to the United States, you could do that. Or you could just move within the United States to a cheaper part, right? One that was maybe lower taxes or something like that. So you could live on $40,000 and take that extra $8,000 to allow your portfolio to grow even more, so that in 3 years you could live off of $54,000, right? Or you could live on 48, or you could live on, like, say 36 and work as a consultant 2 days a week, or start a side hustle. Like, you're in a spot where your worst case scenario would be like everybody else's regular life. You know what I mean? So if you save, and I can go through and do the math. So if you're curious on this, let me know down below in the comments on how to get $1.2 million. I don't have it, but I know how to do it, and I'm in the process of getting there. I will have a net worth update video. Probably not tonight. I'm probably going to go to bed after this one. But I will have a net worth update video coming soon. And I will do these periodically, like once a month or once every quarter or two, to give you progress on my net worth and reaching these numbers. So now fat, right? Fat, that's P-H-A-T, motherfuckers. For anybody who doesn't like swearing, I said mother fudgers, fudge. Everybody likes fudge. Put fudge on ice cream. Tastes really good. Mint chocolate chip ice cream with fudge on it, like a little bit of warm fudge. That's good shit. Okay. I put down 12,000 for me. So it's the same thing, right? You'll just be stepping up a little bit more. So instead of like maybe the cheapest Airbnbs, maybe I would go for more of the more expensive Airbnbs as I traveled. Maybe I would spend more time in higher cost of living areas, spend some more time giving money and taking care of the people that I care about close to me, for $12,000 a month. That's $144,000 a year. And again, if you take $144,000 divided by 4%, that comes out to be $3.6 million. Which means that if you have a portfolio of $3.6 million, you can take about 4% per year to live off of $144,000. So you can do this for whatever your number is. It's that simple. You can, and I like to start with the bare bones, right? Start with the bare bones. Like, what's the fucking minimum you can live off of? Period. By the way, check this out. There's barely any felt left on this pen. I need to get a new pen. but on $2,000, can't afford a new pen. So, if anybody wants to send me one, just kidding. So do this for you. Get your bare bones minimum, right? On a month, like what you need bare bones on a monthly basis. Multiply that times 12 to get your annual amount, and then multiply that times 25. Or as we showed here, right? Or you can divide by 4%, and it'll give you the same thing. And that's the portfolio you need in retirement. It's that simple to know how much you need in retirement. You don't need to go through fucking Charles Schwab or Fidelity's like calculator and fucking put in all these numbers and it's going to tell you need $14 million or whatever the case is. Actually, I should do that one time and just compare it to see how close these numbers are. Anyways, I appreciate it, guys. If you guys like this video, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Share it with somebody else too, like somebody who's about to retire, somebody who has these questions, who comes to mind when you think about things like this. Share this with them. Like, maybe it would be helpful. I feel as though this kind of stuff is not talked about in school, and it'd be tremendously valuable for more people to learn about this kind of stuff. Because if I knew about that, well, I didn't, but if I knew about this when I was younger, right, or anybody knew about this when they were 18, and they started putting 25 to 40% away of what they made, right, like stay living at home, fucking work at McDonald's or Walmart making $15 an hour, and put money away, by the time they're 35, they can retire and never ever have to work again. Like, it's not that hard. Just like working out is not that hard. So share this video with them. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave to follow along over my progress in the future. Oh, look at that last page of the notebook. And press that little bell notification so YouTube can tell you next time I post a video. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you soon.